Hi, I'm Sylvia Soska.
And I'm Jen Soska.
And we're the Soska Sisters from Days of the Dead Chicago. And we are here talking about your YouTube channel.
Yes, only a few hundred subscribers, but these ladies are most incredible.
A few 100,000 subscribers?
Get in! Get a part of this!
Subscribe, it's the little button
down there.
It's
Blood
nothing.
E with 2 E's.
Bloody Jacob for sexy, awesome, exclusive content. And actually a for real friend of the Soskas.
Yeah, we love him! Support his stuff!
Please support your local artists. Please.
And hey, what's up you guys, Bloody Jacob here to bring you a video talking about my experience in attending the Days of the Dead Horror Convention in Chicago this year. 2019, November 2nd through the November 22nd through the 24th. But yeah, I just got back late last night, from Chicago, and you guys know I try to do a lot of these conventions every year. I've been doing them since about 2016 as much as I can. Or my first real convention was in 2016, I guess. And since I had finished high school and everything, I just realized how possible a lot of these things were to attend. I still can't afford like a lot of flights necessarily to states away or across the country or a country away or something, but Chicago I usually watch because they're the ones I can actually get to without spending a ridiculous amount of money on travel. Chicago, I always go to Flashback Horror Weekend, and it's like a tradition of ours every year. And when I seen that not only was Days of the Dead going to be in Chicago this year, but also the guests they were inviting, it was an absolute must attend for us, both me and my fiance. And I was so excited. And the Soska Sisters attending, Danielle Harris, Skeet Ulrich at one point, but he did unfortunately have to cancel. And Derek Mears and some of the others. This turned into a can't miss one for me. And if you guys can't tell by that video, which I also uploaded separately the other day, and I will kind of sync it and interweave it into my usual video intro and my other weekly videos and such. The Soska Sisters were an absolute hit. I have to tell you guys. I don't even know how to put it into words necessarily. I've been a big admirer and fan of their work for many years now. I've been one of those lucky ones to have them on Facebook, and I've seen just how kind and compassionate they are to their fans even online. I always thought, oh wow, these people, I haven't seen anyone really interact and appreciate their fans the way they have. And it's like almost every day you'll see Jen or Sylvia, one or the other, if not both, typing out something to help people or responding to people to help them, having real conversations. And obviously I just love their work. American Mary, they directed my all-time favorite actress, Catherine Isabel. She was also in See No Evil 2, where they worked with Danielle Harris, not to mention, Kane, my all-time favorite wrestler. I've just always loved their attitude and their passion I could see from their work, even though I hadn't met them yet. But I was always like, come on, they're like one of the last few, groups of people I really, feel a need that I have to, meet at some point in my lives. And now I just want to see them again. I mean, it's they were so open and laid back and welcoming. I've never felt that kind of warmth or embrace from any guest before, and that I was lucky enough that they had actually recognized me from some of our conversations online over the years. My little YouTube cover photo collages I used to change out for the art on my channel a few years ago. I'd include them on it. They remembered that, so I felt like they had already knew me, and it really became the point like we're actual friends. It's not just like oh yeah oh, you're a fan, oh thank you, sign, have a good day. It's not that kind of thing at all. They treat everyone as equals. if you somehow have a bad experience with the Saska sisters, it's something you did. I'm just gonna say that, because they gave everyone a fair shake, and my fiance was absolutely just taken aback by how generous they were, and we were also lucky enough to have. We had the VIP passes this year, which yes are kind of expensive. About over $200 a piece. When you add in the tax and everything. But we had access to the VIP lounge. Just for to save some money on some food and such a little bit throughout the weekend. Well, we got lucky, and Sylvia and Jen had actually gone there to take a break at the same time. And yeah, just there's no disconnect with them. It just feels real, like it should. I would talk to them about their work, of course, but the best part was really just talking to them as people, having organic conversations, and they helped. I mean, this isn't just, I don't think it was just the best convention experience I've ever had because of them. I think it was one of probably the best memories of my entire life thus far. And I know it might seem like I'm exaggerating, or I'm taking it to a level it wasn't, but I don't know, if you're truly fans of theirs, they welcome you like friends, or like a long lost family member or something like that. And I truly love Jen and Sylvia Saska, and I can't say enough good words about them. And again, I think they're the absolute best and most passionate people, not only in the genre, the film industry, but just working today in general. Absolutely gorgeous souls inside and out. And if you guys didn't see our photo op, our professional photos right here, I also have the print of it. We did the Blood Party photo shoot there. Absolutely worth every penny. We were both wearing our Saska shirts, so they had bloodied that up for us, and it just basically legitimized the merchandise for me. Jen, grabbing my face and, making sure that handprint was on there. There's another one on the shirt. And of course it'll wash out. It came off pretty easy, but the convention badge that you guys can see there, that got quite a bit of the blood splatter as well, and it's actually kind of cool to keep it that way, at least on that end. But yeah, I thought it turned out really, really nice. And obviously I have the printout versions of these as well. The printout versions look even better in person, but I wanted you guys to see it to some extent, as well as that download from a second ago. I do gotta straighten it out a little bit just for the way I was carrying it the whole weekend and such, but I kept it in like a sheet to try and keep it as straight as I could, but I gotta wait to a couple days for payday again to get the frames for them. But I will immediately, and it's gonna go okay, you see, like, I have a spot in my room here, my Catherine Isabel photo op, I'm getting confused. Catherine Isabel photo is right there. I'll probably put the Saska's picture right there, and then Danielle Harris on the other side, by the Punisher poster, just to kind of keep it, within the same type of stuff. And then I will put the picture I had the Saska sign, which I'll show you in a second, probably right beside the Catherine Isabel sign Ginger Snaps poster, probably about right there, and I'll have to move Peter Griffin over somewhere else, but yeah, here's the picture they had signed for me. I just thought it looked really cool, and absolutely amazing what they wrote on this. They really make it feel like something special for everyone, and they're so genuine. They mean it. They're not bullshitting you. They're not faking. They're never gonna ignore you, or I don't know. They make you feel like everyone's included. They give everyone a fair shake, and that's about all you can ask. And plus all the other praises I sang for them just a couple minutes ago. They're all true. The Saskas are absolutely the best people you could ever have the pleasure to meet. And I don't want to get too emotional over this, but they really like I said, they help people, and they just, it's hard to describe on a webcam. I don't know. But yes, they're they're the absolute best people we could ever be fans of, and to be as close to them as I am, still within reason, of course. I'm not one of those creepers, which do exist, but I still make it feel true. And if you guys are actually watching, almost 10 minutes into this by chance, thank you again so much. I love you, and I hope we can see each other again at some point, whether it's in Chicago or somewhere else I can actually get to by chance at some point. Who knows? But plenty of horror conventions in Chicago, though, so we'll see. But yeah, so the Saska sisters were obviously the highlight of my weekend. I can't really disagree with that. And probably the obviously best experience with celebrities or guests I've ever had. I just can't dispute that. My experience with them and meeting Catherine and Isabel a couple of years ago, it's pretty much right up there both for me. So, and then I met some other people besides them. Don't worry. Let's see. Okay. I have a lot of stuff kind of complexly stacked up here to make sure I get to everything. Let me just see. Alright, and then I also had the pleasure of finally meeting a horror legend, an icon, Scream Queen, if you want to call him that, simplify it, Danielle Harris. And this was a big one for me as well. Catherine Isabel, she is my all-time favorite actress, but within the genre, Danielle Harris is just right there with her. I've been waiting a long time to meet her. It was just a perfect storm. The Saskas were announced, then Danielle Harris was announced. I was like, oh my fucking god. I showed you the digital download of the photo with her there. She was doing an in-costume photo op, dressed as Jamie again, which is cool. But, and obviously I liked her role as a kid in there, and I also really liked her, role as Annie in the Rob Zombie movies and everything, but, I don't know what my favorite film of hers would be. I just know that, I kind of like her. I just want to picture with her more in just a general sense, not just Halloween specific. But that's ironic with what I had her sign. I just thought this was a, good-looking picture for her to sign there, to say the least. I just thought it kind of popped with the coloring and everything like that. But yeah, and I also had a random encounter with her at a local mall around that area actually as well. I think it was in the afternoon on Friday on November 22nd, before the convention was going to start. Anyway, I'd seen her walk past. We were sitting in it's kind of a sitting in the sitting area, obviously. But I thought, I'm not gonna be a fangirl and jump and say, "Oh, Danielle Harris, hey, oh my God, I love you so much." No, I think there is a right way to approach, celebrities or anyone that you admire. I think there's a right way to do it. Kind of an organic way to do it. But I still took the safe route, and I think probably the most respectful route. And I didn't try to find her later. I didn't try to follow her or something. That would be completely. But I still thought it was cool that it actually just happened like that. It's like, oh yeah, but look what you have waiting for you later today. And Danielle Harris is very kind. I obviously didn't get to talk to her like I did the Saskas, which was totally different than just the table thing, but it was still a pretty big, meaningful one for me, and she was again very kind. I of course told her how much I liked her work throughout the years, and the fact that my fans had just now recently seen some of her work, but she's always liked her as well. I even briefly, I'm a big action movie fan, so I briefly asked her what it was like, having to work with Steven Seagal and Marked for Death in the 80s when she was a kid. And she said about as weird as you'd expect. And that's all the acknowledgement I needed of that. We all know how Steven Seagal is. I just kind of wanted to hear it from her, and it's kind of funny. But yeah, Danielle Harris is very kind. I also went to the Rob Zombie Halloween panel. That same day, I think it was actually the first panel of the day. Danielle Harris had brought one of their kids, one of her, her youngest, obviously, which is fine. Credit to her for managing it so well, being a mom and keeping her together, and also still obviously engaging with fans and everything. I bet there are some people think, oh come on, she shouldn't have brought her baby. That's so annoying. But those people. It's just very frightening that those types of people exist, honestly. Same with the ones that give the Saskas trouble. Like, what the fuck? But yeah, the panel was actually quite good. I mean, I've always liked the Rob Zombie Halloween films. Rob Zombie wasn't there, by the way, but they had Danielle Harris there, and Scout Taylor Compton. For some reason, I don't have the actress's name in my head right now, but the other friend from the first Rob Zombie film, who was quite good as well. I'm not trying to do her disservice by not talking about her, but she spoke a lot as well. I liked her. I was actually going to get Scout Taylor Compton's autograph as well, but I just didn't have money to get the Saskas, Danielle Harris, the photos, travel, food money, and I like to buy some merchandise as well, so I kind of had to pick and choose. But still going to their panel, Scout Taylor Compton seemed pretty cool and nice as well. She seemed pretty thoughtful, and she was maybe the most engaged of them, honestly. So yeah, that was pretty good. And then I also got to talk about, of course, Derek Mears. I've seen almost every Jason actor at some point now, except unfortunately Richard Brooker, who had passed away before I had a chance to meet him. But with that big Jason reunion flashback weekend did last year, I've seen almost everyone. With Kane Hodder in Grand Rapids a couple years ago. And now I've met Derek Mears, and Derek Mears, Kane Hodder, and for me personally, Ken Kersinger are my three favorite Jason actors. After that, probably C.J. Graham. But I've always been a big fan of Derek Mears' version of Jason, and this is adding to my Jason autograph collection. Of course, Jason being my all-time favorite, horror character and slasher especially. I've always liked the 2009 remake, and I like just how much Derek Mears distinguished himself with sort of his own brand of physicality. In my opinion, him and Kane Hodder left the most distinct marks of what they brought to the character, and in that role. And obviously, Derek Mears is he was Swamp Thing recently, which is a great show. Why the fuck it was canceled? Who the hell knows? But it was very, very good. And he's done a lot of guest spots in other shows. He always stands out. He was in the Hills Have Eyes 2 remake. I could go on and on about the work he's done, but it was a real pleasure and joy to meet him. He's one of the kindest people I've met as well. He ended up actually signing mine for free, because I was actually kind of frustrated, because I was planning to meet him, ever since I had seen him announced. But it just did not, work out as much. Some of the merchandise and what sort of happened with the Big Daddy thing we'll talk about here in a second. But I kind of explained to him I guess I just didn't budget correctly and such, but I still wanted to meet you and talk to you and stuff like that. But then he just kind of did. He just kind of signed it away. Gave it for free on the last day, and he told me not to worry about it. Asked him if he was sure, like 2 or 3 times. But he is very kind. We actually talked quite a bit. I asked him what it was like to wrestle around with Jared Padalecki in the 2009 remake. We talked in depth about, Swamp Thing a bit as well. I couldn't really ask for a better time with him either. I did want to get a photo op, but again, you kind of have to pick and choose at some point unless you're filthy rich. So Derek Mears, a very, very good guy. And also, before I get too much further, I did have a few selfies with the Saskas I want to share as well, because again, they were kind of like the thing at this convention for us. So let's see. All right, I dig this photo. Here's another one of just the 3 of us. Like how they're about to go for me with the badge there in the lanyard. And then, of course, the jacket. You can't really see the jacket right now, but that's the Dead Hooker in a Trunk zip hoodie from Terror Threads, which was only available for a short time. So glad to have that. And they're pretty excited as well. Of course, Sylvia's wearing her, hashtag Free the Saskas shirt, which is a bunch of bullshit. With what happened with that on Twitter, if you guys are familiar, or follow them on social media. And this was a really nice picture as well, big group hug. And there are obviously some variations of these photos as well, but I just want to share a few of them at least. Just again, Jen and Sylvia, extraordinaires, pioneers. Oh god, the absolute best things you could ask for right now. Yeah, sorry again. The benefits of having Facebook open when you're trying to do a video. And yeah, we'll talk about Eugene Clark, Big Daddy, who played Big Daddy in Land of the Dead. I got this mini poster signed by him. One of the more well-known scenes from the movie. I've always liked Land of the Dead as well. It doesn't get talked about like a lot of the other ones, but I honestly like it more than the Dawn of the Dead films. In terms of the George Romero zombie films, I think it's my favorite, along with Day of the Dead with Bub, the original, of course. So I was happy to meet him. I mean, he's not announced. He's not officially announced as a guest of these things. I mean, I've seen him at a Motor City convention, maybe somewhere else before. It might have been a fan fest or something. I'm not sure. Or maybe it was just the fan fest and not the Motor City one. I don't know. But he's not announced at these things. I think you just see him. He has a table there. So I decided I was finally going to meet him, and he was a nice guy. Don't get me wrong. He had a lot of his table was really well organized. He had one of those older Big Daddy figures, which I do want to get at some point. He had a few different posters, a few different like screenshots and everything, like a mashup fan-made thing of him and Bub, ironically. As well as some Blu-rays and like a collector's edition and such. And he was good. He talked for a few minutes and everything, but. He was a bit of a salesman as well. I can say that. It's not totally his fault. I mean, sell his worth. It's up to him how he wants to do that. And like I said, I was still happy to meet him. Not looking down too much on it. But I ended up getting some. Getting a picture with him and having him sign the poster, obviously. And yeah, I have a few different pictures with him here, but he was the one trying to make sure it was right and everything. And he had taken the money before the pictures as well, so it was kind of his choice. But yeah, so paying him essentially for one selfie and the signature was $80, which is, I'm not saying what he's worth or what he's not, but that's kind of a good chunk. I mean, Danielle Harris was less than that for a combo, by like $20 or $30. The Saskas definitely were. Or maybe they weren't. I don't know, but there are two of them. So, and they just gave us like 30 times what we ever asked for there. So, but I mean, you have other guests like Danielle Harris. I'm not even sure how much Richard Dreyfuss was there. Probably not. Probably around that same area. I'd actually guess. Derek Mears. I think even his combos when he charged for them, were like just 40 or 50. And Derek Mears, I think, is more well known than Eugene Clark would be. Let me see who else was. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure how much the It Kids were charging exactly, which I'll talk about in a second. But I do remember their photo op prices, and they are both less than that. So I think their autographs would probably be less than $80 as well, and they're definitely more well known right now. I know Edward Furlong was there as well, who I should talk on in a second as well. But yeah, it was just odd. It felt overpriced, and it's too bad. I mean, I did pay it. I could have said no, or I could have said okay, just just the signature, just a photo or something. But so it's not completely on him, but I feel like he kind of pushed his price a bit there. I don't know. But he was nice to me. I'm not really bashing him for that. I'm not really bashing him in general, but it was kind of a bit of an odd thing. He kind of like talked his way through it really fast, and so I just said, hey, okay. Well, sort of I was a bit kind of nervous in that situation as well. It was kind of a weird thing to talk your way out of too. But yeah, still not too bad. And here are some of the pictures we took. And like I said, I do like Land of the Dead a lot, so it's still worth it for me in the end. But I probably would have had a little bit more left over had I not done this. But still, it is still a good thing to meet him, I think. All right. And yeah, Edward Furlong, who played John Connor as a kid, and Terminator 2: Judgment Day. He's been in a bunch of other stuff like American History X, Pet Sematary 2, which I still got to see. I couldn't afford to directly meet him, which maybe I should have tried that as well. But you guys know how much I love Arnold Schwarzenegger, obviously. Yeah, I went to his panel, actually. It was noon on the last day, on Sunday. And he actually, I know he's had some personal problems for like the last, couple decades and everything, or, ever since he kind of left that role. But he seemed mellow, for whatever the reason. He seemed pretty cool. He was really talkative with his fans. I heard he was nice at his table. So yeah, I mean, what more can you really ask for? He does look at least a fair bit better than he did a few years ago, from what I've seen and what I gathered. So yeah, I mean, not really much bad to say about him. I mean, I think he was good. And the It children. I went to their panel as well. And they all seemed like nice kids. There's Chosen Jacobs. There was Chosen Jacobs, Jackson Robert Scott, who is Georgie, Jeremy Ray Taylor, Wyatt Olaf. And they did the panel, of course, together as the It Kids. The only one that wasn't there, I think, was Beverly and everything. And obviously Bill, of course, but it wasn't their fault. Again, nice kids, but there were a lot of those fangirl types that showed up for this panel. It was like packed, and you had the type of teenage girls that are like, "Oh my God, I love you, Chosen," or like they're kind of doing commentary to themselves throughout the panel, commenting on every little thing they said, or they're like, "Oh, don't look at me," or "Oh my God, Chosen, look over here," or just shouting "I love you" at random points, or different things like that. One girl sitting next to me for some reason was on some kind of chat and taking pictures of Wyatt periodically throughout and just sounding it really discreet, like, I guess. I don't know. It's just kind of creepy, and I hate that these kids have this image of what a fandom can be like, and this is their main fixture on what the fandom's like. Shit. I don't know. I don't know how they deal with or have the patience for that all the time, but I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they like it to some extent. Yeah, I mean, they're teenage guys, but either way, I'm sure it gets a bit overdone, even for them. But still, they seem nice enough. Before we get into the merchandise I got or picked up from the convention, I should show you some of the shirt I got, so I don't have to pull it out because it's being washed right now. But yeah, in the picture with Danielle Harris, I obviously got one of her shirts from Terra Threads. She's pretty happy about that. And then another one I should show you guys as well. I'm not sure where I set this now. I specifically did for this video, but I also have this one on, which is Days of the Dead as the convention shirt for this year. Kind of cool. I'll just put this up while I search for that. Alright, sorry about that, guys. But the first shirt I wanted to share with you, besides the Danielle Harris one, this is an American Mary shirt, of course. The Saska Sisters, one of their biggest movies, probably their breakout film a few years ago. Of course, starring Catherine Isabelle, so basically I have a Catherine Isabelle shirt now, which is great, because again, she's my all-time favorite actress, so I was happy to find this. And pardon me while I put that back real quick. And so I don't make this video too much longer than it really is. I'm only going to try and go another hopefully 10 minutes at most. I just wanted to show you some of the other purchases I made besides the shirts at the con, which is mostly just some movies and a couple figure sort of things. And one thing that's a little different, and that's it. That is this Leatherface cup. Yes, it is plastic. Obviously hollow and everything. Apparently you can wash it, just not in the dishwasher, and you kind of gotta be careful with how you do it. I think with the paint sink. Maybe, I don't know. But I think, I might use it some night while I'm watching a specific horror movie and it's the exact right mood. I might want to sit back and, indulge like that. But either way, I think it's still a cool little, display piece, kind of like a sculpting for the Leatherface head, and then you got the meat hook there. and then, you know, kind of the skulls and kind of human remains that you'd see in the Massacre films. So yeah, I do like that. And then, you know, yeah, we'll start with figures, I think. And this is a Movie Maniacs Jason figure, still in package. It's the Bloody Jason Goes to Hell variant. And yes, I know the packaging that has been discolored as aged, but I'm never planning on selling this, so for me as a collector, that actually makes it even better. This is one I'm going to keep in box, though. And like I said, I met Kane Hodder a year or so ago at Grand Rapids Comic Con. But I think when I do, hopefully, inevitably run into him again, like a Days of the Dead or something, I will bring this and get him to sign that. I think that'd be pretty awesome. But yeah, I think the aging actually makes it a cool, you know, collector's thing to have around. And obviously the Movie Maniacs line has long been done. But there's had a bunch of them there, both in and out of package, and this is only like $30. And there's nothing else wrong with the package either, besides the discoloring. Even that I think kind of works. But I mean, there's no like actual damage or cracks to it or anything, which I think is pretty awesome. And it was only, again, $30. And a good condition Movie Maniacs box for this one can often go up to like $80, $85. Sometimes like $60 or $50 or something. But either way, I was still happy to have it. So I think that was a pretty cool find, actually. Then next up, I did get quite a few Funko Pops. Yeah, I don't get as many of them as I used to. I kind of just slowed the roll a bit, and there's not that many of them I want anymore. Still got the Office ones, though. But yeah, I got a couple more Buffy ones. So I already have the Buffy 20th Anniversary Edition. I have the Giles, so her in the dress and the jacket with the crossbow. I have Giles, of course. I have the regular Xander. And now I have the Dark Willow. And I actually found these, maybe I shouldn't have included this, but this is during the same trip because we went to at local mall again. And I went to a Hot Topic in there, and they had these for $2 each. Okay, so I could not pass this up, and they're actually the most well-painted ones I had managed to find of these. So yeah, Dark Willow. I really like this arc in the show, although there's maybe they should have brought back who this is connected to. But still, I think this was a really high point for Allison Hannigan, flexing her acting skills on the show. And Dark Willow, I think, was quite possibly the best, villain of sorts of the whole series. So yeah, cool to finally have this. I actually have the whole wave on the back of the box now, so that's pretty awesome. And that spoils the next one because I also got Faith. Faith is one of my personal favorite characters in the whole Buffy Angel universe. I just really loved her arc throughout the series. I think Elijah Dushku did a fantastic job. Had they actually done a Faith spinoff, who knows how even further she would have ascended for me, but I can't say enough about that. I actually talked to some people at the convention about Buffy, so that's kind of cool. I'm so glad to finally have the Faith one. I've seen this Faith around at some other stores locally, but again, there's always like little paint issues, but this one I think is for the most part pretty good. So I was happy to grab this again just for $2. And this one I actually got at the convention, but it was one I've been meaning to get for a while, so it was $10. But a lot of the vendors were charging $12 for them, so still slightly cheaper. And that's the Jeepers Creepers Funko Pop. I'm surprised they even made one, for the movie. Obviously more based on the Jeepers Creepers 3 look, which is fine. Jeepers Creepers 3 being being the worst out of the three. I think the first one's still the best, the second one's alright. The third one has some little moments, but overall it feels a lot cheaper, and it's just not quite as good. Hopefully if they do a fourth one, it's kind of what they're planning with, the actress in the first film, and Ray Weiss or something like that. And I know the whole controversy with Victor Salva and everything. I think he's absolutely a piece of fucking garbage, and I did not know that before seeing the movies. I don't need to go too far into that right now, but I just think the Creeper himself is like a unique and fun, entertaining monster that we don't really see a lot these days. He's not a copycat of some 80s slasher or anything. He's something a little more distinguished, especially for these days. So yeah, I was glad to get this one. I had the chance. This one's pretty well painted too. And yeah, that's it in terms of kind of my figures and miscellaneous stuff. But yeah, I picked up quite a few movies as well. Again, a lot of these you can find for cheap throughout the convention. That's a lot of vendors have movies, so it's a good time to grab some. Nothing like too overboard with this, but I got the Curse of Chucky or Call of Chucky, excuse me, on Blu-ray. It was the last one I had held off on getting. I didn't really care for Call of Chucky too much. I didn't really like the multiple Chucky's thing they had going, really. But I liked the regular original Chucky being held, by Andy and everything, and the whole thing with that. And I think Fiona Dourif did a really nice job. I'm curious to see how they integrate it into the show, if they're still doing that. I don't know. But still, I had to complete out the series at some point. I do like Cult better than the new Child's Play remake. Sorry, I just did not care for that. Because again, at least you still have Fiona Dourif in here and Brad Dourif with the original especially. So yeah, I still like it. It's good to have it finally. I did almost get like a Blu-ray set a few months ago, but I already had copies of some of the other films, so I just found it'd still be cheaper to just finish them out individually. So I got that. This is one my my fiance grabbed for me. It's one I've meant to watch at some point, I guess. I mean, I've seen it for cheap at some retail stores and such, but just wasn't sure when I was going to buy it or watch it or anything. And that's Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. It came out a few years ago. My dad's actually watched this one. He's like he's a historical guy, so he probably just wanted to have some fun to see what the hell was going on with this movie. But I've heard it has some like okay visuals, or it has some like fun like vampire action scenes or something. So I don't know. I've also heard it takes itself too seriously, but then it has tonal issues, so I don't know. But I'm just hoping for like a fun like horror action flick or something like that. I don't know. It is rated R, so hopefully it'll just provide some value on that end. Who knows? I'm sure it's far from the worst movie in my collection. So there's that. This is one my girlfriend got, or my fiance got as well. And it's we're kind of at that point where what's ours is the others as well. For the most part anyway. And she grabbed this, with the unfortunate recent passing of Sid Haig. We thought now was a good time to actually get this ourselves, and that's High on the Hog. Mixed things on this movie overall, but this is one of Sid Haig's last, featured movies. And to own it, I think, is a good thing, always. Sid Haig. I always thought I was going to see him, because he did do, like, the Days of the Dead cons a lot, but my fiance and I had actually wrote a letter and placed it on the boxes that the con actually had up for people to send to his family eventually anyway. So I think that was pretty nice as well. We'll see how that is at some point. Then also, this one's still sealed, I think, so I think it's actually still new. And that's ABCs of Death 2. And they wanted to get this finally because the Saska sisters did one of the shorts on this. So here's to finally watch that, and happy to own it for their sake. Again, I promised you guys 10 minutes. It's almost 10 minutes, so I am speeding it up a little bit. And then we got into some classic horror stuff, actually. And that's the Lon Chaney Wolfman Legacy Collection. Little scuffs to the box and everything, but I think it's still a cool looking little set. It's better than those like single disc, just black, white, and red, cases I see everywhere these days. So I think it's a cool little looking set. I've always loved the, werewolves has always been one of my favorite, movie monsters. The 2010 Wolfman movie is one of my favorite horror movies of all time, personally, and I still appreciate the original films. Especially wanted to get this for the original 41 flick and Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. Just did a video talking about the original Frankenstein too, by the way. But then it also has Werewolf of London and She-Wolf of London on here too, so that's fine. Also some commentary features and documentary sort of thing, so that's nice. Let's see if I could okay. Yeah, well, I don't need to show you every little bit of it, but the case seems kind of cool as well. So again, I think that was a good buy, and I got this for only like $7, for those films, so I think that's good. And what maybe it's even bigger steal is this 50 horror classics set, featuring, films with Vincent Price, Boris Karloff, Bela Lugosi, Lon Chaney Jr., or, yes sir, but you know, and many more. There is one disc missing in this, so there's like 4 films that actually aren't on here, unfortunately. But I can look those up and you know, seek them out some other way if I really want to. But obviously the original Phantom of the Opera on here. You know, things like Nosferatu and some other ones I haven't even heard of. But yeah, basically, I got this like 46 or 50 films for like I think this one was actually only $5. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good buy, even if there are a few of them missing. So yeah, pretty damn cool. And then last one, I promised, we're over 10 minutes now. Yeah, this one is more of an impulse buy. Sometimes I like buying random horror flicks I either haven't heard of or haven't heard much of, and that's Muck. Kane Hodder does some work in this, I guess. Apparently he does have at least a lot of like practical gore effects and stuff like that and stunts. I guess it's very sexualized and not really well acted whatsoever, based on reviews, but I'd still like to see it myself. I mean, that thing looks fairly creepy anyway, so hopefully there's something to it. But either way, you know, Kane Hodder, so... Yeah, that was my Days of the Dead convention experience. Sorry for making the video so long, but I just wanted to really just tell you guys what a good time I had again. The Saska sisters were absolutely incredible. Good experiences with some of the others as well. I just always love being on these scenes. It's definitely an escape and a way to just relax and indulge in your loves and passions and kind of just forget about the, you know, maybe more depressing realities of life sometimes. But the Saskas, again, they're so real, you feel like they can still affect your life day to day in a positive way, and they definitely did that for me. Definitely gave me and my fiance something, and a lot of good memories, actually, to get us through. So yeah, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.